I think that the government will be a huge buyer for a very, very long time. That's just the reality. I think that the commercial customer really just depends on what kind of vertical within space you're talking about. I mean, if you're talking about, for example, satellite imaging, right? There's a lot of use cases that the industry has been talking about. Everything from insurance to mining to agricultural tracking crop yields. To monitoring greenhouse gas emissions, and obviously there's a climate angle, of course, to all this, right? So I think those as the imaging data becomes cheaper and cheaper, and I think there's also an argument of whether it becomes commoditized or not. I know that's a sort of back and forth in the industry, but I think it just so sorry to answer your question. I think it just totally depends on what vertical. Like there are going to be certain industries where it's just going to be the industry, like really as the customer, right? If you think of like, for example, like what Hadrian's doing in terms of verticalizing the aerospace and defense supply chain, right? Most of the folks that are going to be using that product are clearly industry, right? Versus like, Earth observation or communication, or, launch, right? So I think it just depends on the industry. But I think commercial is coming, there's no question, because costs are coming down. And, the one kind of elephant in the room that people do talk about, but, I don't think it's too widely used in discussion right now, especially with business models, is what Starship is going to do. Starship has the ability, if and I'm very confident that Elon's going to pull it off, but Starship does have the ability to drop launch costs another order of magnitude, and that does dramatically change unit economics and business models for a lot of space companies. And it's going to be very exciting what that does to the industry. Very, very exciting. So I think that a lot of what we just said could be accelerated by maybe 2x if Starship works on time, right? So that's sort of the outlier, so to speak, that we just don't know what the end result is going to be. I mean, we have an idea if it works, right? But I don't think a lot of people truly understand what the impact is going to be.